period.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. Coach, just kind of reflecting on Iowa State game. I know that was, a tough last 2 or 3 minutes. Just what was your major takeaway when you go back and review that on film?
Well, we have to be more efficient. I thought we have to take care of the ball better. 22 turnovers is not representative of what we've done most of this year. And you give them credit for their defensive intensity. And then I thought we had some good looks down the stretch. I looked back at the film multiple times. I thought we had some good opportunities. And that's all you can ask for is to get against a team like theirs is, good looks are hard to come by. And coming down the stretch, we had our looks, so we have to capitalize in those situations. And unfortunately, we didn't.
Johnny, you guys get to play Houston for a second time. How much of a benefit is that to have to play a team a second time, or after maybe a couple weeks? And what can you learn from it? And what can you guys take from that?
Well, definitely, the old round robin style of playing everybody twice, I think is always great. You have a chance to, feel your opponent out a little bit, see where they are right now, and then move on. And so for us, we've seen them play, of course, and studying them in preparation. They're a terrific team. They're the #1 team in the nation, and there's a reason why. They defend at a high level, and they're very, very talented. They have guys like Shed on the perimeter, who's a winner, been a winner ever since he's been in that program, making plays. Crowd's really stepped up for him lately as well. And Roberts down low has been terrific. He's hard to guard down there. So they have some really good pieces, and they're playing some of the best basketball right now.
So many opposing coaches have come into this building this season and said how impressed they've been with the atmosphere, the crowds here. #1 team in the country coming in. What kind of crowd do you expect this Wednesday?
I'm expecting to be a sellout crowd. We need everyone. We need everyone to be here for this game. It's senior night for our guys. Very important that we come out and support all the players that have come through this program and have worked really hard for us. So I'm hoping that everyone can come out, have a sellout crowd. Everybody bring great energy and enthusiasm to this building.
Coach, you're facing the top team in the country coming up. Obviously, you've talked about that a little bit already. But does it make it more challenging that they're familiar with you over and above being a top-ranked team?
Absolutely, that's definitely familiarity. They've been a tough team. I mean, they're a tough team, of course, in the American. They're a tough team in the Big 12, as you can see. So we understand that because we faced them enough times to realize how competitive they are and how good they are. And so, we just need to make sure we prepare properly. I thought the game there was a hard-fought game. I thought both teams were very defensive-minded. I believe, 57-45 or something. So a very low-scoring game. We had some opportunities in that game that we didn't, complete. And to their credit, there's a reason why. They make it very difficult for you in every possession. So we have to find ways to get better, better shot opportunities, for us to be successful.
What strides have your team taken since that first meeting at Houston that give you confidence about this return matchup here on Wednesday?
Well, one for us, we're going to go out there and just continue to fight our fight, which is play our style of play, which is, get after it defensively. We want to play in the full court, want to get out in transition. That's what we're looking to do. I mean, we're not changing for any certain opponent. We think we're at our best when we play in a wide open game. Our guys bring a lot of energy on the court defensively, and that usually translates to some offense for us. So we're going to continue to try to do those things that we've always tried to do. And our guys understand what those are. And then we hang our hat on it. We hang our hat on getting stops. We hang our hat on getting out in transition. In the half court, we want to make sure we just don't settle for, perimeter shots. We want to make sure we play, understanding that, we don't want to settle for all jump shots. We want to mix it with getting to the basket.
You've had so many big-time opportunities at home in this Big 12 schedule, but, a lot of top 25 teams. But this is #1. And, what are what's the guys' mindset about that? This is different.
Oh, they understand it's #1. I mean, they know they're the #1 team in the nation. They know they're the leading team in our conference, and they should know those things. And I'm sure they, like most competitors, I'm sure they're very excited about an opportunity to compete against a team that's ranked #1 in the nation. Often you have a chance to do that. And two, you're playing against a team that's #1 in your conference too. So the team that's, leading, the race for the conference championship. So there's a lot of, wonderful things in that with regards for our players to be motivated, excited about. But the main thing, like I've tried to explain to our team, and you're absolutely right about what you said though, is, we're looking at just trying to go 1-0. We're trying to find a way to win this game. We understand who they are and what they represent, but it's about us at the end of the day. It's about us fighting our fight and getting lost in the fight that we have as a team.
following Saturday's game, the players talked about the physicality that Iowa State brought. You saw that with Houston as well. Is there anything more you can do? They said they prepared for it, but it was different when they got into it. How do you amp that up in practice or simulate that in any different way?
Well, your practices have to be very intense. Your practice have to be physical, and that's the best way you can do to prepare for systems like that. But the thing is that it's what they do every day. That's how their system is designed. So they're accustomed to playing that way. Our system is a little different from theirs. We're more of a pressing out in the full court, open court system, and so there's going to be an adjustment when you play teams that are that physical, just strictly in the half court. And so for us, having faced, Iowa State, who was very physical recently on Saturday, and they'll come back and face Houston. I mean, it's a brawl, 2 games of that caliber against those 2 teams, their 2 defenses. It's amazing for our guys. I think it'll help our guys grow, from the experience they had versus Iowa State moving forward into the Houston game. I think we'll grow from having both of those games as we move forward, to finish out conference play.
How important is it to, reach the postseason in this first Big 12 season? I don't know what would happen if you beat Houston in the net ranking in terms of the NCAA at large, but you can, help your seeding for the Big 12 tournament. But, the NIT is an attainable goal with the new rules in place. UCF's definitely in the mix there. How important would that be in a season where not many people expected much of UCF basketball?
Well, it's very important. I always say it's very important not to just, you want to show that you belong. I think showing you belong is by winning and by getting in postseason. That's how you show you belong. And so we have work to do, and we realize that. Our players are competing every day. They're preparing for that. We have a lot to play for this season. Of course, coming up with Houston and finishing up, conference play. But then we have our conference tournament. Our guys understand the opportunities that are in front of them, and we just need to, take advantage of them.
Coach, you mentioned it briefly. Next game is senior night for the guys on the team. And what is that feeling to you, though, as a coach on a more personal level, knowing that you're coaching these guys in their last year at a collegiate level?
For me, it's always tough. I mean, it's different in this day and age because you have so many new players, but it's still tough. They become like my own children to me. That's how I feel about these young men. So, they're leaving now and they're starting another part of their journey. After they leave and graduate, I'm gonna be rooting for their success no matter what they do, and I'll always be a resource for them for the rest of their life. But it's hard. You go to practice every day. You're in film sessions. You travel on the road together. And so I'm just really proud of them. I'm always proud of their work ethic. I'm always proud they represent themselves in our community here in Orlando and at UCF. So, but it's always tough for any coach, like losing a child that goes off to college or, transitions to something else. That's difficult for us.
We are at the end of the race right now. This is our last home game. And I would like to know what's been your favorite memory of the season? There's any specific memory that you would like to share?
I would have to think about, a favorite memory. I think we're still in the process of trying to make some memories, but we've had some good moments here. I think just probably one of my fondest memories I'll have from this season will be just the support that we've gotten from our community, just the support we've gotten from UCF and our student section. I thought it's been amazing. Like we mentioned it earlier, it's been electric in here and deservingly so. I thought our guys have given winning efforts every night. And I think the crowd, I think they really have rallied around this group. And so just seeing how amazing it's been and what's possible, here at UCF in addition to Financial Arena has been something that's been very special for me.
Johnny, you through your career as a coach and a player, you've played against number 1 teams. You've been a number 1 team yourself. What is the challenge as a coach to, as you talked a little bit about it with the players, not getting caught up in that number and going against the number 1 team? What's some advice or something you remember that's maybe helped you through those kind of situations?
I think keeping it in perspective. I mean, you're still playing basketball. I mean, rankings and names on the front of jerseys can affect a lot of people. I think the teams that are successful are the teams that, realize that we're playing their 5 guys versus our 5 guys. Keeping it in perspective, meaning that we're going to go out there, execute our game plan to the best of our ability like they're going to do. And, we'll see what happens. But I think sometimes when you make so much of a game like that, you build it up so much for your players and they build it up so much from people outside talking to them. I think it becomes difficult for them to be successful in it. So I think you got to make sure that you stay balanced with how you prepare for teams of that caliber.
Coach, you kind of touched on it with the last game, but there's been so many examples this season where this team, even in losses, has given themselves an opportunity to get back in the game, to win the game, and then just can't close it out. But after that, in the bounce back game, what continues to give you confidence that this group will respond in the right way?
Because for the most part, throughout the season, they've responded. So they've been able to regroup after every game, and you're going to have. I mean, you look through this conference. There are a lot of teams who are having to regroup and respond quite a bit. I mean, it's so competitive, and so that's what we've had to do. And our guys have done that now and shown me, consistently that they've been able to respond based on, what's happened in the past game or game or two. So that gives me confidence that they'll bounce back, and we'll, have our minds set, firmly on our next opponent and give it maximum effort again.
Do you notice any sort of discouragement though when you are having those close losses, or are they good about just kind of shaking that off?
No, we have a saying. We say next play, which going to the next play. We can't control what just happened. Like on Saturday, we have to move on, but we have to move on learning the lessons. And so the lessons can be tough. We're watching film and we're going through it in preparation. We have to be quite frank and candid about what we have to do to get better. And so I'm sure, it's tough for them and it's tough for all of us. But at the end of the day, it's working toward getting better so that the next time we step foot on the court, we're more improved than we were the last time we went out there.
And you said senior night is maybe a little bit different for some players these days with the transfer portal and everything, but 1986, your senior day at Duke, they were number one in the country. Looked like that was the North Carolina game. What do you remember about your senior day?
We won. I always tell our seniors the one thing, I tell all our players, for senior night is the one game you're going to remember. There are not a lot of games you're going to remember. Of course, the special moments. That's one you're going to always remember. Everyone will always remember the senior night game for the rest of their life. And so that's why for the seniors it's very important that you go out the right way, because you're going to have that memory regardless. It's going to be etched in you for the rest of your life. So you want to make sure that you go out there and have no regrets about how you perform.
You talk about lessons learned at this point in the season with so many games that are a couple possession games. What do you hope your players have learned about playing on the margins there? That just a couple different things go your way, they're on the right side of those.
Absolutely. I mean, I can look back at games, and as coaches, it's always tough, to look back like that. But just 1-2 possession games, just finishing games, like you said earlier, closing games, closing them out. Importance of making sure you execute, very well down the stretch of those games. Whether it's something you did defensively, something you did offensively, you got to execute at the highest level. You have to be at your best in that last 4 minutes. And we've had a number of opportunities, and we really have not quite been at our best. We've won some games, of course, so we've been, good, but we had opportunities to be even better.
Why do you think that's so? What are you frustrated about? You've used the word composure throughout the season.
Yeah.
You look at it on Saturday's game. You're right there, and then they go on a run, and you make some mistakes that cost you a game.
Exactly. It just comes down to composure to me. I think I've said that most of the season because of that, and I've seen us in those situations. Just staying calm, have some composure, understanding what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do down the stretch, and just executing it. And then, like I said, Saturday I thought we did a lot of those things. I just think we didn't make shots. I look back on that. I mean, we missed three wide open shots that from our best shooters, and all of a sudden that complexity of that game changes coming down the last 2 minutes of the game. So, in that one, we turned it over, but it was after we've had amazing opportunities to knock down shots. And then we started pressing as the game kind of went on, got down by 2 possessions, and we started trying to force some plays. But we had opportunities, and against, I think, a very well-coached team, a really good team. Our guys should believe and know that they can be successful because they've been right there. And a lot of these games, like you said, we just have to close with better composure. And whether that's, like I said, defensive stop, whether that's a rebound offensively or defensively, or a made shot, we have to come up and make those plays at that time.
Coach, you piggybacking off of that last question. Throughout the whole Big 12 season, it was close game after close game with all these competitive teams. But playing number one, but you've played a lot of other ranked teams and you beat a lot of other ranked teams. How much of a helpful reminder is it to you that you know that these, and for your players, that these games are winnable?
No, absolutely. That's very important. You don't want to go in any contest. And I've never coached any game in my life or played any game in my life that I went into and didn't think we could win. I'm just not a believer in that. And our guys aren't believers in that. That's the one thing. They have a great competitive spirit. So I know that they're going in every time they lace them up, they feel that they can win the game. And so having had those wins that you just mentioned earlier, just confirm some of that for them. But they're going to go out there regardless if they've won the game or not against those ranked teams. And they're going to go out there with a belief that they can win. And whoever beats us is going to have to earn it through 40 minutes. And I think you've seen that throughout this year. Everyone that's beat us for the most part, they've had to earn that game because our guys have come out with a commitment to win every single night.
Time for two more.
As you look to continue to build this program, how important has this season been in that regard? The fact you've been competitive, you've won big games, there's been great home environments as you talk to donors and recruits and guys that are going to be part of these future teams that hopefully will help you get to the top of the Big 12. How important has this first Big 12 season been in that regard?
It's been hugely important. Hugely important to show that we can be competitive in this conference so that our community here at Orlando, UCF, and surrounding areas know that if you come here, that you can compete, against the teams that we're going to compete in this league. Because if they don't feel they can compete, then they have options to look at other places. Now that they know that we can compete, I think it just confirms to them in their consideration of our program that is someone that's viable because we can compete. And everyone wants to be a part of teams that can win. No one wants to go to a place and don't think they have a chance to be successful at whatever conference that is. So I think that's been very helpful for us this year in our community.
And Johnny, final one for you. Being a former member of the American with Houston, I mean, you've seen this program along the years. Do you still get a sense that this program is somehow underappreciated nationally? I mean, they're always in the top 10, it seems, and they're always making deep runs, but they still have this sense of underappreciation nationally, it seems. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I do. I still feel they feel like they're a little bit of an underdog syndrome on them when they're an elite basketball team and have been for a while. They've kind of flown under the radar. We knew them, as you mentioned, because we're in the same conference. Great coach, like I said, terrific talent. And those guys play for one thing, they play for each other. You see it every single time they step on the court. So, no, absolutely. And I think, after this year, I think that will change based on kind of what they're doing now. I think people will start to really recognize, like, wait a minute, this is one of the elite programs, nationwide and has been.
So